so let's go ahead and start your homework for tonight. Number 6 is 2-8 here. The directions say, trying to get that worksheet, sorry guys. The directions say graph each linear inequality. So all this is a line, so you need to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. So I have 2y is less than or equal to, put the x first please, and divide each and every term by 2. Be careful, because whenever you divide by a negative, what must you always do? You must flip the inequality symbol. I'm dividing by a positive, so it stays less than or equal to, and this is what we have. Now, I need some information out of there. The very first thing I need is my y-intercept. My y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 4. My slope is -2/1, so that's up 2, left 1. Then, is it solid or dotted? It's going to be solid because it is a greater than or equal to. And do I shade above or below? I shade above because it is a greater than or equal to. Okay? So I'm going to take that information and I'm going to go ahead and graph that. So I'm going to start from 0, 4. And I'm going to rise up 2 units into the left 1, up 2 to the left 1, up 2 to the left 1. And I'm going to connect that with a solid line. And I am then going to shade above each of those points. Okay? So that is my inequality and my answer. And I am done. So that is how you're going to do problems 1 through 6. Now keep in mind, number 1 is just y equals x. Your b value is 0. Your slope is 1. Number 2 is y is greater than 2. There is no x in that equation, so it's just a horizontal line. Number 3 is x equals 2, or is less than or equal to 2. There is no y, so it's a vertical line. So a lot of these are super easy for you, but you are going to get stumped on the first 3 because it's so simple. So be careful. Okay? Then let's go ahead and hop down to problem number 8. Problem number 8, the directions say graph each absolute value inequality. So the very first thing I want you to notice is I want you to find your a value. Your a value is going to be what is right here. It's the phantom 1, which means how is this thing opening? It opens up and it has a valley, which it is a minimum. Okay? Next is I want you to find your axis of symmetry. That's going to be x minus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to 2. This is your h value. Your k value is going to be -8 to give you a vertex of the point 2, -8. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to graph 2, -8. That puts me right here. And we know that to be a minimum, so I'm going to write the word minimum on there so I know nothing goes below it. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to use my graphing, my slope. I'm going to go up 1 and left and right 1. So up 1, to the right 1, to the right 1, to the right 1, to the left 1, to the left 1, to the left 1. And I'm going to look at my symbol. So is it solid or dotted? This is going to be less than or equal to, so that's a solid line. And do I shade above each dot or do I shade below each dot? Less than or equal to means it's below. So I'm going to connect these with a solid line, but I'm going to shade below each and every one of those points. So I'm shading on the outside of my valley. Okay? I am shading on the outside of my valley. So that is your graph for that absolute value inequality, and that's how you're going to do 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to give you a hint on number 9. My a value is still going to be 1. My axis of symmetry is going to be 1/6 x is equal to 0, so multiply by 6. X is still equal to 0, yes? And then that is going to give you my h, and then my k is -3, so my vertex is going to be 0, -3. So that's going to go right there. Okay? And you guys should be able to graph it from there. I'm not going to finish that for you. Let's go ahead and turn the page here. we talk about the back side. The back side of this is number 11. It says write the inequality for each graph, and the equation for the boundary line is given. So I'm giving you the equation. You have to ask yourself the two questions. Is it solid or dotted? Is the shading above or below? This is a dotted line. Since it's dotted, these are the two options you use. Choose any point. The shading for that point is above. The shading for that point is above. The shading for that point is above. Which one means above? This one right here. So your answer is negative 2x minus 3y is greater than 6. Okay? Number 16. Now, this section for 13 through 18 says to write the inequality for each graph. So I have to come up with the equation and come up with the inequality. So I have y is equal to a absolute value of x minus h plus k. That is the equation of an absolute value. The very first thing I need to find is the vertex. The scale is going by 1, so my vertex is going to be the point 0, 5. This is your h and your k. From there, I need to find another point, rising up and going to the right 1, so my slope is 1. Is it opening up like a valley, or is it opening down like a mountain? It is opening up, so it's positive, so I have y is equal to 1 absolute value of x minus 0 plus 5. So y is equal to absolute value of x plus 5. Now I have to replace this equal sign with an inequality symbol. So is it a solid line or a dotted line? It is dotted, which means I'm doing strictly greater than or strictly less than. And is the shading for this region below these dots or above these dots? And it is going to be below. This means below, so y is strictly less than the absolute value of x plus 5. There's your answer. I will do one more of these, number 18. Okay? Check your scale. Your scale is going by 2s. Okay? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So go ahead and change that scale so you can see it. So this is going to be 3, 4. So that's my vertex. Be super careful with that. 3, 4 is my vertex. So if that's my vertex, I need to go ahead and I need to find my A value. It's opening down, so it's negative. And now I'm going to find a point. Well, from this point, I'm going to go up 1, 2 units. And then I'm going to go to the left 1. So my A value is negative 2. So this is my formula. So y is equal to negative 2x minus 3 plus 4. Now, I need to replace this equal sign with an inequality symbol. So, is it dotted or solid? It is dotted, so it's less than or greater than. And is the shading above it or below it? Well, the shading for each one of these is above each one of those dots, so that means greater than. So y is greater than negative 2, absolute value of x minus 3 plus 4. And that is your answer. If you have questions, please let me know.